Good morning, and I'm joining you today from the Artichon Conference Center for the second day of the National Recount, which got underway yesterday. The first person I have to speak with me this morning is Ms. Lam to tell me some of our expectations today, as there would have been some concerns raised yesterday about the pace in which the work was done. So I'll talk to her a bit about her thoughts going into the second day of the recount process. Good morning, Ms. Lam.
Morning, Bibi. What we're expecting today is the pace to speed up. Yesterday, like I told Neil last night, there were some teething problems and that needed to be sorted out. Those are not expected to be repeated today. We have the same team today, so I don't expect persons to be raising, objections, the same objections we had yesterday. However, as well, today there's some tabulation work to be done for regions 2, 3, and 4. And then we expect the tabulation process to be faster than it was yesterday, because all day yesterday, as they were counting, there was nothing to count literally in that room. So there's SORs for regions 2, 3, and 4 to be tabulated. And then as the additional boxes are finished, it is my expectation that GECOM will continue that process so that at least by the end of tonight, we will have some sort of preliminary count to give to the public. So those are the expectations for today. Reality might just very well be a different thing, but I'm always an optimistic person, and therefore this is my hope as we head into today's session.
You said your party members will remain the same, so you don't expect the same concerns to be raised. However, GECOM at one time said that they will be interchanging staff on a day-by-day basis. Did they update you guys on whether they'll be changing every day?
They didn't say that they would be changing every day, but we are expecting a rotation. So I'm actually expecting new staff today, but I would have expected as well that GECOM would have done a complete training for their staff for the recount and issues that would have been raised yesterday. Those any new staffers coming in today would have a briefing as to the position that GECOM took yesterday with regards to certain objections. So I'm not expecting that again.
All right. And yesterday 25 boxes were complete at the end of the day. Do you think that's an okay pace, or this should be speed up?
It should be sped up if we were going to keep to the 25-day timeline. Realistically, yesterday I actually did not expect that many boxes to be completed in the first place, because the pace at which we were going, and then all of the objections that had to be ironed out and positions taken by the commissioner and the chair at that point, as well as the CEO. So ultimately, I'm expecting at least, even if we do 40 boxes a day, that's realistically possible if we work consistently and we don't find major anomalies. But realistically speaking, at this point, you have to prepare for anything. But if we continue at the pace we did yesterday, 25 days could very well easily become 50 and more.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome.
All right, so we are in front of the Artichon Conference Center where they're starting the second day of the recount. The recount is expected to start for today at 8 hours. Yesterday it was started by 1 hour late due to the security procedures that you have to undergo at the gate in order to get in. And also there were briefings for the political party agents, and there were other signing up processes that will not be done again today, that will not be repeated. So it is expected that there will be a start on time today for today's recount. Yesterday 25 boxes were completed, and most parties are expecting this to be increased today in order to ensure that the 2,339 ballot boxes will be finished in the 25 days expected time limit. We now have with us Dr. Vishnu Bandhu from the United Republican Party, who will share his thoughts today.
Morning.
Good morning, Dr. Bandhu. Can you tell us what are your thoughts going into the second day of the recount?
Well, I feel much comfortable today, more than yesterday, because it was a bit hectic here yesterday morning, confusion. Yesterday, my report from all our agents and so was very good. They are all satisfied with what's happening in the center. We are hoping it will continue that way. We will not have no kind of problem. Of course, you had 1-2 center, 1-2 room probably have a little thing with the PPP and the APNO people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some party raised concerns about their votes maybe going as spoiled ballots, or maybe some persons, there's an allegations that one person who would have died voted. And has your party had any major issues?
We did not have any kind of major issue. It was those rejections and so on of spoiled vote was comfortable with our agent. We have had no problem in that. Of course, we do know that they have areas where people who are died vote and so forth, but we haven't met to that stage as yet.
Okay, and going into the second day, do you expect that the process will be a little bit faster than it was yesterday?
Well, I am hoping to that the thing will be checking faster because they're grooving in the first day. We have to give them that kind of leverage.
Okay, and your party has persons at all of the 10 recount stations?
Yeah, we have 10 counting station person, we have 1 tabulation, we have 5 security, 16 persons we have in all.
The security person, why do you need the security person?
To look over the ballot boxes they contain and see everything are happening, in a transparency.
So these persons are stationed back where the containers are located?
They are at the back of the containers with all other parties representative and so forth.
All right. There was also one other ballot box where there was water in the box. Do you have any concerns about the visibility of those contents?
Well, when we meet to that, we can say it will be unfair for us to say. We don't know if any ballot was spoiled or anything like that, because that box hasn't shown up yet. So far, everything that we are having has been, they have been seeing everything on them. So we haven't met to that state yet. The only problem is that on the SOP, what they have to sign off, some of them are a bit blurred, which probably the ink was bad. So we have to bring it to their attention that whatever blur, they should redo it and give the people.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
That was Dr. Vishnu Bandhu from the United Republican Party. He was the presidential candidate for that party, which contested in all of the 10 administrative regions. Dr. Bandhu's party has been contesting these elections for several years, and he's saying that the only concern that his party would have had is the pace in which the work is going, and they're hoping that this can be increased today. Yesterday, they completed 25 ballot boxes, with 7 for Region 1, 6 for Region 2, and in Region 3, 7, and in Region 4, they completed 5 ballot boxes. In some of these ballot boxes, as you would know, there will be just a few persons, but then in others, there will be over 100 or 200 persons voting at that one polling station. There are 10 recount stations, and they are divided into 2 for Region 1, 2 for Region 2, 3 for Region 3, and 3 for Region 4. It is expected that as these counting stations close off in whatever region they are, then they'll start the other region which falls after Region 4, which is Region 5. And the process is expected to last for 25 days. However, GECOM said that after the first week, they will be reviewing the pace at which the work is going and decide whether they need to extend that time or they need to reduce that time. So with 25 in the first day, if we were to go with 25 per day, then we have to increase that time. But most of the party representatives are hoping that this can be increased even up to 40 per day, so that the 25 days will not have to be increased, or even if it has to, it won't be by more than 1 week. We're going to stick around for a bit and see who more we can get to speak with us as persons entered the conference center this morning to start the process inside and to get the parties ready and ensure that everything can start at 8 o'clock. There are several checks being done, for example, looking to see that there are no explosives or nothing that could raise any concerns, because as you would have known, the last for the actual elections process on the days following, the command center which was being used at High and Hatfield Street there was actually a bomb scare at the center at one point, and there were several persons even going into the center that the Guyana Elections Commission believed that they weren't needed there. So now they're taking all the necessary precautions to ensure that only the persons who are accredited and the persons who should be inside of the center will be there during the process. The process is supposed to start today at 8 hours, and we were sure that everything is on stream to get a start on time, as opposed to what happened yesterday where the start was delayed by over an hour. The process is expected to go up until 19 hours, but as we would have seen yesterday, there are some recount stations which concluded their work before because they have explained that they cannot open a new ballot box and then leave it open without completing it to the end. So in order to avoid that, once the ballot box would not have been completed at 19 hours, they did not open. However, we saw one of the recount stations closing off as early as just after 5 p.m. So persons would have raised some concerns about that, and today they were expected to do a better process and ensure that they can use up as much time as they can during the day. As we can see, there are several political party representatives who are heading inside, and we'll try to speak with one of them now.
I expect everybody have their keys for the box so that we can get the process moving earlier.
In terms of we'll talk about social distancing and following the guidelines. Tell us a little bit about that. What is really happening in there?
Well, I mean, GECOM, I must say, is trying their utmost best, but social distancing, I mean, what really social distancing? You have 10 stations in there, yeah? And you have a tabulation center. You have the stations, some have 18 persons, some have 16 persons. You have GECOM staff, you have the police officers, and I mean, everybody's moving all over. I mean, regrettably, at this time, I don't think anyone, neither GECOM, neither the police, we should have had to go through what we're going through. I really respect what is happening and the process, and you're looking for credible outcome, but I'm not going to stand here and just say that you're not at risk. There, in the afternoon yesterday, I noticed GECOM had persons sanitizing the station, but again, you got a scanner based on what I'm told. You walk through, if the virus is there, it's pacing something 10 hours, 11 hours, and all of that. So I think health-wise, even you, the media out here, I have a concern for you, everybody, you know, under the tent. And I want to thank you doing an excellent job, risking yourself too, like us. To put the information out there, keep Guyanese and the entire world updated with what is happening. But it is not the best thing that we should have been going through. For me, my faith is deeper, and I'm in this to the end. I represent in this here, I'm an agent for a party. We have a constituency, we have people, more so Guyanese at large. And so my faith is to be safe. But it is not the best place to be. People moving between up and down, this, that. I mean, the amount of persons in the morning you're going through there. You know, yesterday, the gentleman was very close behind me, breathing on my side. I'm like, could you just go back 6 feet right out here? He was so stubborn, you know, as if it was a battle. I mean, that is compromising myself right there and then. So you do have these cases. The stations are small. You know, the stations are small. For me, I think GECOM doing the best they can to please everybody, but for me, I would not have had 10 stations. Being outside in the yard, it is choky, it is warm, and then you have these things on your face. Like yesterday, like you're getting migraine, you're sweating. I had to send for a fresh shirt to change. It was wet. It is not the best of things.
Minister, yesterday some of your party agents would have raised a matter of deceased persons being on the list and persons who would have migrated. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, indeed, and one of the things that's happening in here, I hear persons talking, oh, GECOM's got a whole long list of things that you got to do. That is not true. What GECOM is doing in there, for me, I would have done more. For example, the deceased that was there, and even migrants that voted here, because we got some evidence, we got to wait until that box come and then to raise it. To raise it with GECOM, you have to have the evidence. Now, bear with me, the original document is GECOM document that they're using. If you're talking about a migrant, you have to get the serial number and a host of things. So it is not to say that GECOM is in there, and they themselves, I mean, I would have loved it we're talking about credible elections and credibility. I would have loved it if GECOM had the debt, because they have all the debt lists from there, and overlap it and migrants, so we would have gotten that. So the process that GECOM is going through is just the regular process, nothing special and big. So I just want to make that clear. I heard persons talking, oh, it is simple. I'm in Region 2. I heard persons talking about box taking an hour in Region 2 and all of that. I don't know about that. I did 2 boxes yesterday for Region 2. None had 30-something vote. None took an hour, right? All of them went beyond 2 hours, the boxes that I looked at. So it is not to say GECOM is stymieing or putting in anything. And you literally got to be paying attention, because GECOM is moving ahead with their work. You got to be looking. You got to be focused. GECOM is not, if you ask a question, of course, they, you know what I mean, or to verify something. But I want to say that it's nothing big that GECOM is really doing in terms of their checklist. People talk about 19 things, a simple thing. The same envelope that there was a seal and put in to make sure that it's there, open it back, check the ballots, 1, 2, 3. Yes, so I just wanted to make that clear.
Two ballot boxes were completed by your station?
Well, that I did, and I think when I left, one more in the afternoon, pretty late. And I mean, you were out here and you would have seen the time that it took. The question that you talk about dead persons voting, we have been saying that all the time. We know that, and people going, oh, you know, it's one dead person. I mean, one is one too many. You understand what I mean? Guyana are really happy for this exercise for one reason, that if there are any loopholes and so on, because I'm confident that GECOM wants to deliver credible election. I have no doubt about that. So I'm hoping that at the end of the process, it would even move GECOM a step forward to prevent some of the things that we will unearth here. Because definitely we're going to unearth things. I am in a station, you open a box, no PO book, no stamp, no this. I mean, people say, oh, somebody forgot it. But, I mean, we don't know that. The certificate, you got a letter certificate to be voted. I still got to wait today, because there are 3 votes that is unaccounted for, the first box that we open. If there's a letter certificate that causes 3 votes to be there, I got to see it. So GECOM themselves, you know what happened in Region 1 and all of that, has problems with some of the work that was being done. It's not to throw a blame on GECOM or anything like that, but it's that you understand that the process is not just a walk in park or something pulling out the sky, and you have credible things and people with evidence and people trying to shoot it down. But you have people with speculation, just talk, chatter, and people running with it. So when you have evidence out there for all of us, all the political party, all Guyanese, you know, we need to pay attention to these things.
Coming back to your station, I just want to ask how many persons were in those ballot boxes that your station counted?
My station, one of the area was 209, and the one was 99.
Okay, and you said your station is located in the outside of the conference center?
Yes.
And how many stations are outside?
1, 2. I think it's about 4, because it's 2 on my side and I think 2 on the other side. So it's about 4. And so it's smaller.
You mean outside in the compound or in the foyer downstairs?
Well, downstairs. This is still in the compound.
Okay, outside there.
Yes, it's outside. It's in the compound.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That was APNU AFC political agent Simone Bruins. As she would have explained, there are several concerns being faced with persons adhering to the COVID-19 guidelines, as she feels that the spaces provided for the Recount station in some cases are too small, and then there are other cases where she would have raised concerns that persons are not adhering to the guidelines which were set up. The Guyana Elections Commission, before starting this recount process, would have received some guidelines from the COVID-19 task force, which they're using to conduct their work, inclusive of ensuring that persons sanitize and they wear their mask, and ensuring that they stay a certain distance from each other. And this limited persons from 10 to 14 or 16 persons in the various counting stations depending on the rooms that are being used for this recount process. There are 10 workstations with 2 designated for Region 1, 2 for Region 2, 3 for Region 3, and 3 for Region 4. Yesterday, the total number of boxes completed by these stations were 25, and it's a hope of the political parties that this can be increased today. However, as Ms. Simona Brooms would have said, there are certain queries which had to be made and certain concerns which were raised. While some hope that the same concerns will not be raised again throughout the process, the GECOM is actually rotating its staff in keeping with the COVID-19 guidelines. It is just the hope that these new persons will be briefed on the previous issues raised and will be able to address same or will be able to move on from that same concerns that would have been raised. We have right now the persons continuing to enter into the conference center. We are just about 10 minutes more to 8 hours when the recount is expected to start.